Good evening and welcome to our Covenant Healthcare sponsored pregame show on Bay County TV. Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you. And tonight, Jason, before we start talking football, we want to talk life. And there's two major lives that have affected both of these programs in the recent.
Well, you know, Standish has a student in the sophomore class, Taylin Tunney, which is what the shirt represents. You see a lot of shirts out there tonight that are Team Tay. She was diagnosed. She's a basketball player of mine. Was diagnosed with cancer about a month ago, and the city and community of Standish, the school system, you see the band has the shirts on tonight. Everybody has rallied around. You know, I have a 15-year-old son myself, so aside from her being a player, it touches me that way. But, you know, any young person that comes in contact, you feel for them. You pray for them. You know, there's nothing else from our standpoint that we can do. I'm not a doctor. But keep them family, keep her specifically in our thoughts and in our prayers, and we're going to keep doing that. We had a nice fundraiser. We had some shirts made up a couple of weeks ago, and you know, everything was good, you know, and so far things are going well. Chemo is going well, and you know, our thoughts are with her and her family.
Well, then you look on the Pinconning side, and Coach Mulligan comes up to this program and really trying to put his footprint in the program, and he comes down with a cancerous problem too, and fortunately a member of the family has stepped in to help keep the ship right.
You know, his brother-in-law is the interim head coach, Paul Hoisington, and stepped into a role, but you know what, it still keeps that family atmosphere, which is what Walter was trying to implement as his steps of progression as far as being the head coach and getting that Pinconning football program up to that next level. So, you know, keeping everything in the family. They have a rally behind them now, you know, for their coach. And I expect to see a spirited effort, not just this week, but every day, because I think because it hits them so close, it's very emotional. And it also allows them to realize that, you know, every day is precious. You know, every day they get to go to practice, every day they get to go to a game.
Well, and when you get to start the year off, we've had probably a string of at least 6 or 8 years in a row where Standish and Pinconning start the season off next door neighbors. It's just a great rivalry and an easy way to get revved up for week one.
Yeah, I tell you what, the only thing is, you know, a couple of years ago when they didn't have school, you know, school started back after Labor Day, it was always a tough one because you didn't have that student section. Well, school is back in session, football is back in session, and I'm excited to be here with you and calling this great backyard rivalry.
Well, the one thing that Pinconning has really struggled with the last few years is just total numbers of players that they've been able to get out and suit up.
You know, it's a problem that is affecting a lot of programs, whether it's the freshman program, the JV program. A lot of teams have had to consolidate or even move kids up to the varsity maybe before they're ready. You know, but one of the things that I was impressed with Coach Mulligan is keeping the JV team and allowing and taking advantage of the 5-quarter rule that the MHSAA put in a year ago that allows the kids on the JV team to maybe play 4 quarters and then still get a quarter of varsity action. So, you know, it's not always going to be measured by wins and losses, but it's going to be measured by experience. And if you can keep building on positive experiences, you know, that's going to be bode well for the future.
Exactly. Wins and losses are not set in what your record is. Where you started the season and where you finished the season, how much you learned, how much you progressed is all that it's about.
You know, last year was a little different with COVID and the half season and a not a season, and then we're going to have a season as far as every team was able to make the playoffs, similar to basketball and baseball and so on and so forth. You know, we're back to a regular playoff system, you know, but making the playoffs is always a team's goal. And every year, every team starts off no wins, no losses, and they all have a feeling that they can make it. But the years that you don't make it, you're still looking for those building blocks for the next year. You know, it's not like college football where you're worried about your coaching staff being fired every other week. You know, if you've got a coach that wants to be at your school and that wants to put these things in place, you can build on them. And then maybe in 2 years, they can look back at the senior class and thank them for keeping with the program and allowing that legacy and that tradition to be restarted.
And then on the other hand, you got Marty Malcolm. He's been here a little while at Standish as he took over for Paul Walterzak that was here for
the
3
legend.
decades.
The legend.
I got a chance to chat with him earlier tonight as well as I refereed their scrimmage. And he really set this program on great, solid ground, and Coach Malcolm is just there to continue that great tradition.
You know, when you're in a tradition-rich place like Standish, as a coach, when you step into that position, you don't really want to tinker with a lot of things. You really don't want, because you've already been brought up in that system. You already understand. You understand the community. They understand the expectations. So it's not a surprise that, you have a rabid fan base that wants to see you succeed. They're going to be there for you just like they were for the last 30 years.
Well, it's going to be a great night for football. The weather is starting to cool off. Overcast skies, it's probably down into the upper 70s right now, which compared to where we've been is good. Last night, Pinconning took it on the chin in the JV game, but they'll look to bounce back. And that about puts the wraps on our pregame show, sponsored by Covenant Healthcare. Back in just a minute for all the game action right here on Bay County TV.
At Covenant Healthcare, we lead with the most advanced technology. We lead with the most experienced, comprehensive medical and surgical teams. We lead with partnerships to teach our future doctors and with organizations who help us bring world-renowned care close to home. We lead because our patients are at the center of everything we do. Covenant Healthcare, extraordinary care for every generation.
Good evening and welcome back. It's week number 1. It's the Standish Sterling Central Panthers entertaining the Pinconning area Spartans, and the Standish Sterling Central Panthers are going to receive the opening kickoff, and this will be a huge test early on for that Pinconning defense.
Well, I tell you right now, Chase Kobayash is back there, and they're going to want to kick it away from number 12. He's an excellent runner with great speed. Be interesting to see if they kick it to him.
Charbonneau to kick off for the Pinconning area Spartans. They kind of go on the wing, and it's picked up on a single hop. Cruising upfield over the 40, at the 45, past the 50-yard line, down to the 38-yard line is number 25, Cody Bartlett. And it was a touchdown-saving tackle by the kicker, holding on for dear life, waiting for some help.
Well, aren't they all touchdown-saving tackles?
They are. I guess I never did think of that before, Coach. Boy, I'll tell you, what a great way to start the game. And he picked up a nice, almost baseball short hop and took off up the field, got one nice block, and then ran to the open space.
It was interesting because I said not to kick it to Kobayash, and maybe they should. Sherman, I was listening to the wrong guy in the press box.
All right, Brett Bartlett is the quarterback, and he's back to throw, and he's got a wide-open receiver down the middle of the field who started to run, and that is
Jordan Laponce.
Just decided he had touchdown written, and he took the eyes off the football. And, boy, I'll tell you what, though, the defensive back sure did bite on that fake to play action.
I tell you what, not only did he drop it, but he dropped his gloves after that. He threw them over to the sideline and says, let me see that wall again. Let's see if Bartlett will go back to him.
He did not enjoy having those gloves on. I've never been a big fan of the gloves.
Not if I got glue on them.
Well, here we go again. Bartlett with a handoff. And that goes breaking a tackle or two is number 32 on the play, Thibault, as he does a nice job of getting down, picking up about almost 9 yards on the play before the Pinconning Spartan defense is able to haul him down. And nice versatility between run pass in the first 2 plays for Standish.
Yeah, be interested to see. Third down is short. This is 4-down territory. You think they're going to go for it on 4, so maybe do a play action and look to throw the ball to the end zone again.
That will be interesting, and we'll see what they do. I say they run the ball, and they do run the ball, and that's exactly what Pinconning was waiting for. As that ball carrier on the play, number 32, Thibault, got dropped like a rock. Number 58 with a great tackle on that play, Riley Heil.
Yeah, Jack Betcher in there as well, number 10 for the Spartans. See, should have went play action.
And that
armchair quarterback or armchair coach.
I'm not saying they shouldn't. I just didn't think they would. And so now, I think that was a great play for the Pinconning defense. Now let's see what happens on 4th and a long one. Jet sweep to the near side of the field. Lead blocker got the first down and more. Inside the 15, inside the 10. Breaks another block down to the 4-yard line with a tremendous run on the play. And that is number 1, Brayton Sullivan. Finally brought down by number 8, Charbonneau defensively. And got a little yellow hanky, and we could have a hold.
That is going to be, obviously it's a bad call for Standish in terms of wiping out a goal-to-go option, but 4th and 12, 4th and 13 early in the game.
I think they go for it.
Okay.
I really think they're trying to send a message earlier. The thing is about the hold, TJ, on this side of the field, they really didn't need to do it. They would have had the first down, probably wouldn't have got down to the 4-yard line, but you want to move the sticks, and that's the first thing you want to do. So it happened downfield, so it was a spot foul, so now it's only going to be 4th down and 7.
Well, I get your point, and that's the thing about first week, is you're going to be able to grow and show your team in the film room what exactly you could do on that particular play.
Down the field, plenty of time to throw the football right down the middle of the field. This one is thrown right into the arms of number 1 on the play. Braden Sullivan cradles that ball home. It's a Standish Sterling Central Panther touchdown.
What a throw by Bartlett. I thought he overthrew him. Sullivan ran underneath it, plenty of time.
It was so well set up, Jason. He had a pocket and a half back there. No pressure, nobody in his face, able to step forward on that throw. And again, it did look like he aired that thing out, but he knew exactly where Sullivan was going to be in a quick 6.
Well, Sullivan's still smarting from that last run that he just took down to the 4, and he wanted to make up for it, even though he wasn't the one responsible for the holding. He got in the end zone one way or the other.
All right. Extra point is up and good, but we've got offside first. Now you're going to move that ball down to the 1.5-yard line. Do you rethink your position and potentially go for 2 here? So, Jason, we got some early time decisions that need to be made here in this game.
I say let him kick it. Get the kicker some confidence, because you never know if you're going to need that leg loosened up later in a close game. Maybe need a field goal from 30. Get his leg loosened up.
Well, and you got to have 3 things happen here for success. You got to have a good snap, a good hold, and a good kick. So we'll see. As Bartlett sends it up, it's plenty long, and it's right down the pipes and good. Time out of the field with 10:20 left in our first quarter. The Standish Sterling Central Panthers 7. The Pinconning area Spartans waiting to touch the ball offensively. Back in a moment on BCTV.
For over 75 years, Frank's Great Outdoors has served as the Great Lakes Bay region's premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor shopping destination. What started in the mid-1940s as a roadside bait and tackle stand has now blossomed into a 30,000 square foot outdoorsman's dream shopping location. Stop by the store located at 1212 North Huron Road in Linwood, or shop online at franksgreatoutdoors.com to find everything you need to get your next outdoor adventure started.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham. Betcher, along with Gunther, back deep to return the kick for the Pinconning area Spartans. Bartlett with a high, deep end-over-end kick, going to be taken on the 16-yard line. Trying to cruise up the field is the return man, and that is Gunther, as he gets back up to about the 28-yard line. At that point, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Pinconning area Spartans. And if we're not spot on, our viewers, I would like them to know we really didn't get an official roster, so we had to hand write something down. And when you work in a hospital for 40 years, you hope you can read what you wrote.
Well, you're not a doctor, but you start to feel like one after a while. Here's the thing about Pinconning. They're going to the wing T this year, so you're going to have to excuse us if we don't even know who has the ball.
We'll have to watch close, just like the officials are going to have to. So it's going to be interesting to see as they hand that ball off to the tailback, trying to turn around the corner. Real nice job as Betcher coming forward, picking up about 14 yards, and he got about the last 10 with good extra effort on his part.
He had a nice spin move on the sideline there. He could have ran out of bounds or even just took it down, but he had a nice spin move. He's a tough runner. He's a junior. He was the leading rusher last year for the Spartans. Certainly looking to take this offense with the run-oriented. They're talking about maybe not even passing it very often, so taking that option and running with it, for lack of better puns that I've got.
Yep, they are going to ground chuck it, as we call the old Chuck Knox L.A. Ram offense, and they have got the single wing to the split backs in the backfield. Right up the middle, and a great tackle that time by number 54, Nathan Tremble, as the ball carrier on the play, number 44, Cooper Norman, might have picked up a yard on the play. But the front four for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, they're moles. They like to get low, and they like to disrupt the running lanes And so even when they're on the ground, you'll see those arms reaching out, sometimes even a leg, even though you're not supposed to whip with it. It just sometimes is part of the natural progression.
Well, you know, the thing about this offense, that fullback option up the middle is going to be a lot more stronger if they can get some outside running like Betcher had on that first down. That run right there by Lalonde.
Yep.
Not going anywhere. And that's the situation. If you got to get some runs on the outside to loosen up that middle, and then your fullback, who's a hard runner, has some lanes to get through.
Dittenberg with the initial hit defensively. You have to run that fullback option, even if it's not successful, because you have to keep the defense honest.
Absolutely. And if you can, you know, they're kids. They're high school kids. So they're going to start guessing at points. And if they guess wrong, all of a sudden you're looking at the back of a jersey.
As they come up to the line of scrimmage again, they are going to try and pass the ball. Pressure from the backside. The ball's fumbled. And it is picked up by the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, and that is number 80, Leponsi. And he just had a gift fall into his lap.
I tell you what, we talked about not throwing the ball. And Shaka did not have that recognition of the backside pressure. And that ball just came right out and right up into Jordan Leponsi's fingertips. You know, wasn't a lot, I don't know how many years ago, but before in the high school, if you got a fumble, wasn't it a spot? You could always scoop and score?
Yep. It's behind the line of scrimmage. Scoop and go. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers with 8:13 left in our first quarter. Pass on the outside. It's tipped and then caught as it goes into the hands of Braden Sullivan. After it was nearly picked off, I believe the defense was Charbonneau out there that got a hand on it.
You know, that's a lucky throw. You know, I think as soon as Bartlett threw it, I think he kind of knew that it wasn't a very good throw, maybe a misguided toss. But all's well that ends well.
Temporary stoppage of play. One of the Pinconning defenders had their helmet come off, so they've got to come out for a play. But a gain of 9 yards on the play. 2nd down and 1 yard to go for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers as the clock rolls with 7:44 left in our first quarter of play.
I tell you, Bartlett looks really comfortable back there in the quarterback position. Even after that first pass that was dropped, he's gone right back to it a couple of times. And Sullivan seems to be one of his top receivers out there.
Ball carried on the play by number 32 that time, Thibault. He gets a nice gain down to about the 4-yard line. It's going to be enough to move the sticks. It'll be 1st and goal from the 4-yard line for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, picking up offensively right where they left off on that first drive.
Yeah, they're going to look to punch it in here. You know, I like the way that he runs. He runs pretty much straight up the middle, and we're talking about Thibault. You got Sullivan with the speed around the corners. You got Leponsi's a big target out there. They got a lot of options out there for their offense.
They are, and now they're going right up the middle with Thibault again, and he's sniffing the goal line. He looks like he is just short. Nope, the head linesman on the far side of the field says it'll be a Standish Sterling Central Panther touchdown. Boy, 2 quick ones, Jason, with 7:07 left in our first quarter. Standish touches it twice and ends up in the end zone both times.
You know, we didn't talk about it in the pregame show, but we knew that turnovers is crucial in any game, especially the first game of the season. But, you know, I mean, it was unfortunate bounce if you're a Pinconning fan. It was a great bounce if you're a Standish fan. As Anderson Bartlett boots his extra point attempt off the left upright.
It's no good. Time out of the field with 7:07 left in the first. 13-0 Panthers. We'll be back in just a moment on Bay County TV.
Is your pain holding you back from things you enjoy, like playing with your grandchildren or participating in a sport? At Collier Chiropractic, we specialize in neck pain, back pain, headaches, or sciatica that won't go away. If you've tried chiropractic, you've tried physical therapy, you've gone to your medical doctor with no results, or you take medication and it doesn't even touch your pain, then put this number in your phone, give us a call, see how we're different at Collier Chiropractic Bay City.
Back here on Bay County TV is part of the Bartlett and Bartlett Law Firm to kick off. Here's a high, short kick that'll be taken again. Both of the Pinconning defenders looking at the football, and they're very fortunate to dive on that loose ball. And that type of a miscommunication, boy, you don't want to see at all. Somebody's got to take charge like the center fielder out there saying, this one's mine, let's go.
Well, in that situation right there, you look. They both called it. They both went toward the ball, and they both backed away from it. Again, week one, a lot of different things are being thrown at these guys. They'll make a correction. They got the ball back. Now's their chance to try to get something going on the ground. Look for them to go back to Betcher.
Betcher will be their workhorse back. As the handoff right up the middle with some success. Finally is rolling with about a 3-yard gain on the play. I believe that was Lalonde, the ball carrier. As we did finally get a roster, but the one we hand wrote is numeric. And boy, that's a whole lot easier for the old announcers to have them in numeric order. Second down and 8 yards to go from their own 22-yard line. As back to pass right now. Late pressure coming. Great catch and run after the catch. Very close to the first down marker is Tyler Owens. Tyler really did a nice job. Caught that ball high and tucked it down. Made a nice cut back to the inside. Enough to move the sticks. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Pinconning area Spartans.
Tell you what, Nashaka as a sophomore starter for the Pinconning team. I mean, again, you're talking about a coaching staff that is looking at that as nothing but positive, and that was a nice throw. His first time that he tried to get out, he ended up with the fumble, but that one came back. You know what? If you want to get over that first mistake, you got to get him right back in the horse.
Well, and before it can be a great throw, you got to have a great read, and he did both on that. So Nashaka did a great job. Motion to the wide side of the field. Motion coming back. Handoff right back to the line of scrimmage. Getting crushed is Lalonde as the defense led by number 54 on the play. Tremble really slammed the door on that one. Virtually no gain on the play. They're going to give him a yard gain, a modest yard. It'll be second down at 9 yards to go with 5.5 left in a 13-0 first quarter Standish.
Nashaka with the handoff there, and he also got a little block in. It's one of those things that you get a lot of respect for your quarterback when he not only does a little bit of the work by handing it off, but he gets into that physical aspect of it as well.
These are Pinconning players that definitely play for each other, and they're going to give everything they have for their teammates. And we've got movement. Are we going to have offside? There was a little bit of jumping, but boy, I didn't really see enough that anybody got to the football. But Pinconning says, I'll take that free 5 and move the ball forward where it becomes second down and a long 4.
It sounds better than 2nd and 9.5, doesn't it?
It certainly does indeed. Nashaka is going to bring him back out again as he comes up to the line of scrimmage. And again, you said, Jason, for a sophomore, he's really got some moxie out there. Let's see if he can put together a big drive for the Pinconning area Spartans. Another handoff up the middle. And a gain of maybe a couple of yards for that ball carrier.
That's that fullback dive up the middle where if you can just get 2-3 yards at a time, I don't want to reference, old school, but Jeff Basel would love 2-3 yards every crack. And
3 yards in a cloud of dust will get you a first down every single time. Norman, that ball carrier for the Pinconning area Spartans. It's now third down in a long 2-yard to go situation. As probably not in 4-down territory here, so we'll see what Pinconning can dial up here on a 3rd and 2.
Looks like Standish is going to bring a little bit of pressure.
They are bringing the pressure. Nice read that time as Betcher goes forward, and he really made a great jump cut off of the right tackle, got away from the defender, and ran to daylight.
Tell you what, they're running this offense right now to a T. They're getting the ball. They're getting good motion up the front with the fullback. They're getting some good speed rushes with the junior Betcher, and then they had the nice pass. This is the type of drive that Pinconning needs, just to A, settle down, B, realize that, it's a 2-score lead. We're going to be okay. We kicked off. We're going to get the ball back. But they need this type of drive. This is the type of drive that this offense is built around. Nice, long, methodical, couple yards at a time.
You keep Standish's offense off the field, and you methodically move it down. Trying to go right up the middle and hit in the backfield, going absolutely nowhere that time as Standish was bringing it.
He went somewhere.
Tyler Brooks went absolutely nowhere forward. He got near the line of scrimmage. He lost a yard on the play, and he was met by a host of Panthers on defense.
I don't know. It looked a little congested at the handoff, almost like there was maybe a mistake read, because when he caught it, he was pretty much flat-footed, and the Standish defense was like, we'll just take it from here.
Well, he looked up, and the only thing he could say is, oh, no, because there was no place for him to go, no place for him to cut. Just put your head down and try and get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, let's see how disciplined they're going to be, if they're going to stick with the run or if they're going to try and do a little pass action.
And they'd go back to the play-action pass. Time ran out on the play as number 57 comes in, Giori, and what looked like a little bit of time for the shock up just shut down. There was a loss on the play of about 6. It'll be 3rd down and 17.
I tell you what, he was trying to get Sullivan to bite on the play fake. Sullivan playing that safety position for the Standish defense, stayed disciplined, stayed back there, and all of a sudden that play action never materialized. He would have been throwing it into double coverage.
So sometimes, you know, if you're a sophomore and you're trying to force a ball that could be picked, maybe you're better off getting sacked because you still have your hands on the football.
Yeah, if you're going to look at it that way, this is going to be an interesting call on 3rd and long for the Spartans.
I think they're going to try a sweep. Try and get to the wide side of the field. Nope, they're going to try the sweep to the near side of the field, and there's really not a lot of room to run there. Knocked out of bounds by a swarming defense from the Standish Sterling Central Panthers. And Betcher again just didn't have a whole lot of real estate. He gained a couple of yards on the play. It's going to be 4th down and 15 yards to go in a probable punting situation for the Pinconning Spartans.
I agree with you. I was thinking maybe the wide side of the field with his speed and with what he's been able to do. Maybe trying to catch Standish off guard a little bit, get him leaning one way, and then trying to pop something big the other way. Single
back. I think Sullivan is back deep. And that ball was nearly hit, and that ball is going to hit down, and it is going to come to rest on about the 1-yard line. Did it get into the end zone? No, they're going to call it dead on the 1. That is just exactly the way you script it up if you're the Pinconning area Spartans.
Yes, almost get it blocked, and then pin it down on the half-yard line for the what a punt. Was that Brooks punting back there?
Yep. Great job that time, as now, the center is going to have his whole body other than the hands on the football and his helmet in the end zone. And that makes it a little sobering, especially, if they try and slide to the outside, your running back could be getting that ball 4 or 5 yards deep in the end zone.
I say Bartlett play action, 99-yard touch.
Well, I would not be shocked to see something of that effect, but they're going to bang it forward and picking up maybe 4 yards out to the 5-yard line as the offense just pushes it out a little bit. Number 58, Heil, with the tackle on the play.
Tebow's a strong runner. He gets, he's the north-south runner. He's not going to, doesn't look at this point like he's going to do a lot of bouncing back and forth. But he's a good person if you're trying to get 3-4 yards out of the end zone.
Boy, it's great to see all the Team Taya shirts around here tonight, too. They are everywhere. And what a great tribute to that young 15-year-old, as we talked about it in the pregame.
Yeah, absolutely. As Bartlett hands it back off. Uh-oh.
Out in the open field at the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50. A stiff arm down to the 38-yard line with a thunderous run. Number 32, Thibault again. You talk about his running up the middle, but he's got a little beep on the outside too.
I tell you, I swear they're listening to us. They're I don't think that announcer thinks I can run.
Well, and Charbonneau too with a touchdown-saving tackle, as he had to come all the way from the wide side of the field and made a tackle, but he got a little stiff arm before he was able to. Thibault, after from the stiff arm, lost his balance, and Charbonneau was able to rewrap him to make it happen. But a huge chunk of real estate in the 1st and 10 for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers. Somebody just getting off the field at the last second.
Ooh.
As they're going to go up to the line of scrimmage, and we got a penalty flag down on this side of the field. I don't know what they're going to have.
Initial call there, holding on Standish. You know, the far side official was pointing over to the Pinconning bench, so they were pretty hot about something.
Well, they were hot because the Pinconning defender did not get off the field, but the head linesman found himself about 5 yards onto the field, and you're not supposed to be on the field. You're supposed to have your toes on the sideline.
So you can listen to the coaches.
So you can hear what's going on. But you know, the other thing about that call, TJ, and I'm an official, when you're on this side of the field and the play's going to the other side of the field and you throw a flag for holding, does it have any bearing or impact on the play at all? No.
No.
So therefore, I eat that flag, and I maybe go up to that person after and say, hey, don't do it again, and you learn from it and you move on. As they're back into a passing situation again, great dime that time. Sack attack from number 58, Riley Heil. Comes into the backfield, and the quarterback is Bartlett. And, boy, I'll tell you, he didn't have much time to do anything. We're at the end of the first quarter of play with our score. The Standish Sterling Central Panthers 13, the Pinconning area Spartans nothing. Back in a moment with the second quarter on Bay County TV. Inside, outside, or even in your home, there are lots of ways to enjoy amazing food from Bay City Bills. Our dining room is ready for you, and so is our new outdoor seating, and we are ready for you with takeout too. Stop in to Bay City Bills at 1215 Michigan Avenue, or find us on Facebook or at www.baycitybills.com to see our full menu. Back here on Bay County TV, and we're still waiting for the head linesman to have things set. He's finally got things situated now where they have got the down box in place, and we're ready to resume play. On a third down and long, Tebow gets a big chunk of real estate, and now, Jason, with a 4th down and 12, you've got a situation where they might go for it on 4th.
Well, because of the holding call, putting it back at first down, it's going to be third down.
Okay.
So they could, if they don't pick up, they're on their side of the field right now. Their defense is playing well.
Boy, I'll tell you, Thibault has really been a workhorse early on for this Standish offense.
Tell you what, Bartlett through the air to start. Tebow on the ground grinding up each yard. It's a deadly combination.
And they run him up the middle again, and he bangs forward for about 4 inside to the 39-yard line. Up out of the bottom of the stack with the tackle is Skalinski.
Looks like they made a change at quarterback as well as Truman King looks to take that last snap and this snap coming from center.
Well, maybe that was part of their plan to run the Bartlett for the first quarter and King for the second. I don't see any noticeable injury that would have potentially caused that, but it's 4th down and 11 yards to go. King back with some time to throw. He's got some pressure coming. Gets rid of the football and throws a strike out there to Sullivan. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's into the end zone. It's a Standish Sterling Central Panther touchdown.
I tell you what, I wasn't sure what he saw at first, but Sullivan is a playmaker from that receiving position. He's quick, he's speedy, and what he just showed there was shifty.
Well, and he just made a quick move to the post, froze the safety, curled back to the outside, and caught that football and walked untouched into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, you know, we talked about Pinconning on that last drive and how important it was for them to maintain the ball, get some clock, get this offense off the field. Now you can see why you want to keep the Standish offense off the field right now.
Well, because they can grind it and they're quick strike. Ooh, that was a bad snap. Nice job by the holder. It's up and good. Time out of the field with 10:53 left in the first half. 20-0 Standish over Pinconning. Back in a moment on BCTV. So your car is getting towed and you're not sure where to take it? Try Village Towing and Auto Repair. Our expert mechanics are here to help assist you with all your repair needs. We have over 30 years of experience with motor vehicles, so you know you're getting the best work that you can find. Stop by the shop at 2377 South Huron Road in Coquitlam, or give us a call at 989-684-9607. Back on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you. As I'd like to thank some of our great sponsors. Covenant Healthcare, our pregame sponsor, but very pleased that Frank's Great Outdoors jumps on board 75 years ago. Start as just a little bait table set up on M13, which is now a mega complex. So we are elated that Frank's Outdoors has chosen to jump on board with us for this great 21-22 season of high school sports. Here comes the kick. That is a deep drive. Back stepping up to the 5-yard line is Betcher. He gets out over the 25 to the 30 to the 34-yard line. Nearly broke it. Great run. He broke a couple of tackles, Jason, and had a great return.
I tell you, I want to see him get more touches. I want to see him get opportunities to get to the outside. And if you're the Standish defense, you know you're going to be wanting to key on him. But you can't stop the up the middle either. You got to remember that Brooks is going to come through or Norman's going to come through that middle every now and then, but use Betcher in that situation where it allows you to use your speedster to allow yourself to make that defense vulnerable in spots.
Well, and he showed a great ability coming to the wide side of the field to plant that foot and change directions, and we'll see if they're able to utilize that as they're near the middle of the field right now, have a little bit more room to this side of the field. We'll see Ashaka up under center. And he pitches that ball to Betcher on the outside. Look at it, he finishes with about a 5 to 6 yard run as he drops that shoulder and makes it happen. Tackler's on the play.
You know, we haven't seen Ashaka run yet, and I'm kind of curious to see if there's going to be an opportunity. It looks like he ran out of bounds a little bit before he put that finishing touch out there, but I'm curious because, you know, if you can get a quarterback that can run, that can make those reads, again, it just makes your entire offense that much more versatile and much more difficult to scout.
Well, that last tackle was by 89, and unfortunately I don't have him in my program. So it'll be second down and about 8 yards to go, trying to go right up the middle and absolutely nowhere to go. As smothered by the Standish Sterling Central Panther defense, led again by number 54, Tremble.
Well, we talked about getting to the outside to open up the middle, but I think they need to get to the outside a couple more times in a row. I think Betcher was willing to be the workhorse. He was a workhorse last year for the Spartans. You know, give him the ball. Give him some opportunities because you can use him to your advantage.
Mashaka again comes up under center with split backs in the backfield. And he's going to be back to throw the football. Throws that ball down the middle. A little miscommunication with the intended receiver, and the ball nearly picked off that time by Tremble, as it looked like it was intended for Cooper Norman.
Yeah, Tremble was the only one I saw in the vicinity that had a real good chance at it. Shaka just has to take a little bit more time back there. You know, again, I get the happy feet. Again, you're a sophomore. You know, the coaches praised him a lot for his work attitude and his work ethic over the summer, his maturity. You know, last year as a freshman, he played into 2 games. A lot of different things can happen in that situation, but use the summer, use the off season to improve yourself, and I know they're excited about him.
Well, and Yanoski was a great one to tutor under last year as that ball takes a nice Pinconning roll and be down at the 37-yard line. At that point, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers with 9:38 left in our first half again. Like to thank the great folks from Frank's Great Outdoors, Collier Chiropractic. There's another one. Austin, an ex-Standish Sterling Central Panther from some of the great teams back from Paul Walderzak when he was up here with Standish, and Cole and Clay Walderzak, and
big boys.
Many, many others. Boy, they had some folks. And Village Towing, another great sponsor, Bay City Bills, AAA Transport. So some great people jumping on board for Bay County TV this year. Couldn't be more happy to have them along as well, once again, as Frank's Outdoors and Collier Chiropractic jumping on board this year.
King back in at quarterback, Tebow behind him, Sullivan in motion.
Tebow to the outside with a nice jump step to the outside. Puts the shoulder down and picks up 13 yards on the play. Looks like Betcher in on the tackle. Tebow was trying to take that ball. Looks like he was supposed to go off the left tackle. Didn't see anything there. Plant foot got to the outside and picked up 13 and moved the sticks.
Hey, sometimes the best gained yardage are the ones that weren't supposed to go that direction. I'm sure you could remember Barry Sanders if for you older folks back out there. I don't think he ever ran where he was supposed to run. I think they just gave him the ball and said, go.
Yep, he could make a 3-yard loss the most exciting play of the game. 1st and 10 for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers. Again, Tebow just makes one person miss, pulls forward for a gain of about 7 yards on the play. Brought down by Tyler Brooks for the Pinconning area Spartans. Tebow has just got great vision, Jason, as he approaches that hole.
He knows where he wants to go. He knows where he's supposed to go. He knows where the blocks are supposed to be, but he still makes that great read at the last second, and then he attacks off of it. It's not just a slow attack. He likes to pounce right into wherever he wants to get to. So whether it's a cut outside or whether it's a drive up the middle, and then, he's not afraid. He's not backing down from any contact either.
Well, when he takes that cut step and he plants, it's all about going to the east and west. He does not want to miss. There's another pass to the outside. It's complete to number 14 on the play, Chase Raymond. And Chase drew that in. And again, Jason, I thought when that left the quarterback's hand that it was going to be overthrown, but these quarterbacks are dialed into their receivers.
It's the first week for us too. We got to start remembering these guys have been doing this for a while. And we're getting our practice set. But that was a great throw. It was a great catch over the shoulder there. And it was a great run after the catch too. He still had a good 5 to 10 yards after the catch.
Ball's going to be down at about the 12-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. 8:22 left in our first half, as that was an out-of-bounds play, so clock won't start until the snap. And it will be motion to the wide side of the field. Thibault again, he changes directions, and a great job coming up by the linebacker again, Heil, as he made a minimal gain on that play of only about 2 yards thanks to a great tackle by Heil.
He stepped outside. He saw the middle was open, took it down for 3 yards. But, again, he's a very powerful runner, and he's going to make sure whoever tackles him feels it.
Truman King comes from the sidelines with the offensive play for the troops on 2nd down and 7. 7:47 and counting left in our first half, 20-0. The Panthers on top over the Pinconning area Spartans here in week 1 of the 2021 football season. Jet sweep coming to the near side of the field. Really nicely defended, but trying to make something happen out of nothing is Sullivan. Sullivan picks up yardage down to the 6-yard line. I thought that Pinconning was going to stop that for little or no gain, and Sullivan kind of eked himself out with about a 3-yard gain.
He's been running that motion off of the last couple of plays. I was kind of waiting for them to run it. Obviously, the Pinconning defense is keyed up on him. It's tough when you got a speedster like Sullivan that's taking you to the outside. You got Tebow that's willing to run it up the middle, and then you've got King and Bartlett both showing the capabilities of throwing the ball. It puts your defense on a lot of edge.
And again, it's 3rd down and a long 3-yard-to-go situation, so 4-down territory. So I look for this to be Tebow on the run. He bangs right into the middle again, bounces up, people's down sniffing the goal line. And it will be 1st and goal from inside the 1-yard line.
Kobayash with the run there. They brought in 12 instead of 32 for us.
Oh, they switched it. I saw the 2 on the back, and they just push buttons and make things happen. 1st and goal at the 1-yard line here with 6:35 left in our first half of play. Again, the running back is Kobayash. He's going to be the recipient. He's going to push forward. He looks like he's in the end zone. It's another Standish Sterling Central Panther touchdown.
Well organized and well orchestrated offensive possession for the Standish on that drive. They did a little bit of everything. They ran the ball well. They passed. They had a nice pass. A lot of good things happening out there right now for Standish to feel real good about.
As they are set to attempt the extra point. And that will be part of the Anderson Bartlett family. It's got a nice leg. kick is partially blocked, and it is no good. Timeout of the field with 6:22 left in our first half. 26-0, Standish over Penny. Back in a moment on Bay County TV.
Over the years, he's put his heart into being your dad. He was always there to fix things. Now that he needs help, don't lose hope. Covenant Center for the Heart is leading the way in minimally invasive heart options for inoperable or high-risk patients, with the first and most comprehensive structural heart disease program in the Great Lakes Bay region. It's extraordinary heart care, close to home.
Back on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you as the Standish Sterling Central Panthers have made it happen. Looking over at Pinconning right now, you can't be frustrated as a Pinconning area Spartans, Jason, because they've actually done a lot of nice things here in the first half.
You're right. You know, I think the thing that has hampered them besides the turnover is just a couple of those indecisions that you know will improve as the season goes on. You know, Coach Hoisington right now has his work cut out for him, you know, but again, there's still a lot of time left in this game. There's still a lot of positives that can come out of this game. They really need to look at getting a sustained drive, keeping the Standish offense off the field for the rest of this quarter. They're going to get the ball after half in the third quarter. So if they can put together a long drive here, keep Standish's offense off, get a field goal, get some points on the board to give them a little bit of momentum, you know, that second half could be a brand new ball game.
Well, they've got 6:22 and 3 timeouts left, so that's an eternity in high school football. They just have to get a drive to maintain possession. Love to see them get it down the field and pop it into the end zone here before the end of the first half.
Well, I would like to see Pinconning get Betcher again, a little bit more involved. I've given it to him a couple of times on each of the drives. I'd like to see him get it a couple more times. Maybe give it to him in a row. He's a workhorse. Give him the ball. Feed him. It's, you know, if you got a post player that's dominating the game, you don't start jacking up threes. You keep feeding the monster.
Make them show that they can stop it. Bartlett's going to have a nice high end-over-end kick that is going to drop dead. That looked like one of your 9-irons, Jason. As Betcher picks that ball up, and he doesn't even get back to the 15-yard line. As you know, that thing had every possibility of either going into the end zone or out of bounds, and it just stuck.
It did neither. It did neither.
So I heard the whistle out on the field. I do not see a penalty flag, though, so way back on their own end, 1st and 10 on their own 15-yard line. Not where the Pinconning area Spartans had hoped to start this drive.
Well, I tell you, you know, they kicked it to Betcher, which, again, I would go away from him. But they kicked it in his direction. He needs that. You know, catch that. You know, I know what he was thinking. It was going to bounce. But I tell you what, anytime you get a chance to make a play, look to make a play if you're a playmaker.
Trying to take that ball off the tackle and not a whole lot of real estate that time as Betcher hits the hole again. But when you look at the kickoffs from Bartlett, he has varied his kickoffs. He's not just pounded them all deep. Some of them are high and a little bit shorter, and I think maybe they could have anticipated a little shorter kick, and with that depth, Betcher wasn't able to go back and clean that thing confidently, and so he thought, like I thought, that was going to hit on about the 4-yard line and going to roll into the end zone.
What I really like the most about is a kicker in high school is such a valuable component of your team's success.
Okay, and you're going to get to hold that thought because we got a timeout of the field. Pinconning. We'll take a break and be back in a moment on Bay County TV.
For over 75 years, Frank's Great Outdoors has served as the Great Lakes Bay region's premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor shopping destination. What started in the mid-1940s as a roadside bait and tackle stand has now blossomed into a 30,000 square foot outdoorsman's dream shopping location. Stop by the store located at 1212 North Huron Road in Linwood or shop online at franksgreatoutdoors.com to find everything you need to get your next outdoor adventure started.
Back on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you as the Pinconning area Spartans are in a situation right now where they really need to make things happen offensively, but we're talking about the kicker, which we were interrupted by the timeout on.
Yeah, having a kicker in the high school that can do what he's been able to do. I know he hit the upright the one time and they just had the last one blocked, but his kickoffs that goes high, he can go long, he's got a powerful leg. A lot of good things can happen because it's a weapon. It's a weapon that you can use whether it's for getting in the field goal range. There's just so many things you can do when you have a reliable kicker.
Well, and there's an unforced error as the offensive line in movement and prior to the snap. So that is 5 yards in the wrong direction. It's going to be second down now and about 15 yards to go with 5:36 still left in the first half. The clock ran down to 5:30. They put 6 ticks back on the clock during the timeout. And it's second down and long. Here comes the blitz as they try and go right up the middle with a modest gain again, as that looked like the front seven were all coming for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, and virtually no gain on the play. Looks like Yaley with the initial hit defensively.
We're going to have a false start on Pinconning. I didn't hear a whistle, but evidently there was a flag, whether there was a whistle or not.
Yep. It wasn't a super strong one, but I saw the motion and the head linesman did drop his hanky. Now, on a penalty like that, I'm going to throw that thing about 20 feet in the air, and this one was declined. But the only time I'm not going to throw it high in the air is when I'm trying to use my flag as a point of reference to the spot where the infraction occurred, so I'll know where they can mark off the penalty. And the quarterback is roughed up in the backfield as he tried to go to the wide side of the field. And again, Standish is just pinning the ears back, Jason, and getting after it.
Well, you know, when you go to the wing tee, when you go to a running game, it doesn't do well for you when you get down a couple of touchdowns. It's a grind it out. It's a long possession. It's time of possession. Things that you need to be able to do. You're down 26-0, and you have a running style form. You're not able to do a lot of these things. You know, now you're going to go into uncharted territory. Your quarterback hasn't got a lot of reps in the backfield. As we got another penalty on the.
I don't know what he's got here.
Heart attack. Illegal substitution.
Nope, that's what he's got. I didn't see any indication till now, and they're going to back it up half the distance to the goal. They're going to go from the 8 to the 4, and again, farther back. And again, you can be down 26-0, Jason, and you could run this offense, but you cannot have 3 penalties in 3 plays in a row. This offense is not predicated on getting 15 or 20 yards to move the sticks. And there is a high short kick, and that is taken by the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, trying to turn the corner as Sullivan. He puts the shoulder down. He's into the end zone. It's another Standish Sterling Central Panther touchdown.
I tell you, Sullivan took it in a lot of traffic there. Wasn't sure he wasn't going to call for a fair catch. He took it, and he knew where he wanted to go. He wasn't going to be side. I like this kid. He's sleek. He's quick. He's smart. He's heady. Every type of adjective you can use that I would describe a point guard is I'm describing Mr. Sullivan.
What I just saw there too, Jason, is you made the point he did catch that in traffic. I really think that the Pinconning defenders stopped for a second, thinking that it was going to be a fair catch too, and they really didn't fill all their lanes. Sullivan had a burst of speed to the outside, though, and a couple of Pinconning defenders thought they had the angle and were not able to get there.
Now, he's proven so far in this first half of the first part of the season here that he's got speed, he's got shiftiness, he's got a little bit of everything.
Bartlett with a good exchange. The kick is up. It's long enough, and it's good. Time out on the field with 4:37 left in the first half. It's 33-0. The Standish Sterling Central Panthers over the Pinconning area Spartans. Back in a moment on BCTV.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
Back on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you as Bartlett. He's probably going to have to ice that foot at halftime between the extra points and the kickoffs, Jason.
Well, we just got done talking about how great of a weapon it is. Now it's more more anxious to see exactly what he's going to do here. If he's going to pooch it high, and
No, he thunderfoots it again. And that ball touched, but it does go back into the end zone.
And that right there just shows you a little bit more because of the fact that he can get it to the end zone. So if you got a team that has some good returners, you got an option right there. Get that ball.
Well, and you've seen 3 different kickoff approaches for Bartlett and the Standish Sterling Central Panthers. And again, if you kick off the same way every time, a lot easier to set up the return knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make the other team keep guessing, trying to figure it out, trying to, again, you want to keep them on their toes. It's the same thing. You don't want to run the same thing over and over and over. And now, unless it's working, then you just keep running until they stop it.
Just keep blasting it. Shaka up under center again. Split backs in the backfield. Betcher trying to get to the outside. Makes a couple of people miss. Has a nice burst of speed. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards. We may have a late hit at the end of that play.
Couldn't see where he went out. I know it was getting close to the sideline, but, he's a hard runner. He's not going to go down. He's not going to go down easy.
And when you run hard to the end of the play, Jason, you sometimes force the defense to make some mistakes, and the defense made a mistake there, and the Pinconning area Spartans are going to have a little burst of energy after that additional 15 added to the end of the run.
Well, we talked about getting Betcher the ball a little bit more, getting him to the outside. They did that, worked out well. They ended up getting about a 10-yard run plus 15 yards on the penalty. Now they're out to the 40-yard line. They got a lot of breathing room compared to where they started and where they finished last possession.
So let's see if they can build on this with 4:25 left in our first half of play. Hand off to Betcher again. Does not get past the line of scrimmage. And, man, look at the number of Standish Sterling Central Panthers getting up out of that pile, up out of the bottom of the stack. Looks like number 14, Chase Raymond. But, man, there must have been 6 yellow helmets in on that pile.
And you know what? I don't think Betcher cares. I think, the way he runs and his mindset is, the more the merrier. Now, he like to bounce one outside and maybe only see one helmet or no helmets, but he's definitely a powerful runner.
But you know what? Your outside success is not going to come unless you have any success on the inside. And even if you don't have a lot, you've got to keep the defense honest. So you got to keep running those plays. Little counter handoff.
Yeah.
Very nicely done for a gain on the play by Lalonde. He picked up about 8 yards on the play, and he'll be down at the 49-yard line. Third down and a very makeable 1 yard to go situation with 3:20 left in the first half.
They ran that play earlier in the game on that first possession and didn't go well. But again, you have to keep with the offense. You have to believe in your philosophy, and you have to get the players to believe in it. And what a great time to go back to it, catching Standish a little bit off.
They haven't
in one way.
They haven't shown it in a while, and it was indeed a great time to show it. 3rd down and 1, right short of midfield. Hand off right up the middle to Betcher, and he picks up just enough yardage to move the sticks. It'll be another 1st and 10 for the Pinconning area Spartans. They've moved the ball 31 yards here, Jason, and it's the second nice drive of the first half we've seen from Pinconning.
This is a very good drive, going into halftime. Now, the only way that's going to put a cherry on top of this is by putting something on the scoreboard. But they are getting good runs. They're getting powerful activity. They're getting good blocks up front, and they're making the right play calls.
Clock is a factor, though. This drive started with 6:22 left. We're down to 2.5 minutes. As trying to run and absolutely nowhere to go. Nashaka tried to turn that upfield, and the pursuit from Raymond and the rest of the defense was all over that play.
I think he missed the pitch. I thought Charbonneau had a chance on the outside. I thought he just held on to it. And then, again, we're talking about making a mistake as a sophomore quarterback. You want to be in that situation that you don't turn the ball over, you don't risk throwing it away, and if you don't feel comfortable or confident to make that pitch, then you eat it, you take the hit, you come back on 2nd down.
And he did make a great decision. Didn't try and do anything silly or foolish with it. as it will be second down and about 12 yards to go. As trying to get that ball to the outside. Great pursuit as Charbonneau tried to get to the outside and could not make it happen. Again, what great defensive pursuit. And I believe that was led by Leponsi, number 80.
Yeah, Leponsi's been getting there a lot on defense. You know, Raymond's doing well on defense. I think, again, going back to what Pinconning's trying to do with 1:10 left here in the first half, let's not turn the ball over. And let's try not to give the ball back to Standish with any amount of time on this clock. So running the ball is not a bad idea. Wouldn't be surprised if Nashaka looked to get something going. But I tell you what, they're sending 8 guys in there, Standish on defense, and there's just not a lot of time.
Well, you're playing man defense when you're sending 7 and 8. So an opportunity for a big play is there with 50 ticks left in the half. Shaka back to pass. He's got some time. Gets rid of that ball. It's complete on the play. And that is to number 11 on the play, and that is Tyler Owens. But again, the clock is just rolling here, and it's fourth down, and they're not going to have to run another play before the end of the first half. But good evening again. I'm Jeff Doan along with Jason Newsham. Jared Doan and Dylan Sauber are the camera people tonight, and producing and directing our show, Nick Page. So another great night of high school football in our week number 1. They do not have to snap this football. There's no reason to snap this football before the end of the half. They're going to kick it off, and that is going to at least give Standish an opportunity to bring this back. And Sullivan is brought down right away. That's the end of our first half of play. With our score, the Standish Sterling Central Panthers with double threes on the board. The Pinconning area Spartans nothing. We'll take a break and be back to recap the first half, set the stage for the second half on Bay County TV.
You treat your family with extraordinary care every day, which is why when it comes to their health, more of you choose Covenant Healthcare. We specialize in extraordinary care, from diagnosis to recovery, from babies to grandparents. Learn more about our extraordinary bariatrics program. Sign up for our free seminar.
Back with our Frank's Outdoors, Great Outdoors halftime show. Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you. Whether it's Bartlett or whether it's King, they've both shown the ability in the first half to really make this offense look good.
The coach does not have an issue at the quarterback position. He's got to feel comfortable and confident with both, the way that both are playing so far. You know, I liked Bartlett's ball earlier, and King came in and made some really nice plays, some good decisions. You know, it's just one of those things where you can only play one at a time. So, you know, we'll see if he goes back to Bartlett for the third quarter or if he stays with King.
Well, you've got Thibault running well. You've got Raymond catching some balls. You got Sullivan catching some balls. Other than the first play of the game that there was a dropped ball on, they've caught virtually everything that's been thrown their way.
And every time that you and I both think that it's an overthrow or an underthrow, it ends up being a perfect throw. So yeah, as long as we keep calling their games, and they're going to love their amount of catches they're going to get per game.
Now, you look on the other side of the ball and you go, they're down 33-0. There really can't be a lot of good things to talk about. I have 2 great drives for the Pinconning area Spartans in that first half that took over 6 minutes on both drives, Jason, but a couple of them they got put behind the 8 ball with penalties, and another one they'd have a missed assignment here or there. The offense can't work when you're sitting in second and more than 10 and third and more than 10.
Yeah, when they get in that second and 12, it really shrinks your playbook options. But it's not so much that their offense going backwards. The Standish defense is really just kind of keyed in on, you know, you got Betcher, and then you got Tebow. What's my man going up the middle?
Anyway.
Yeah, you know, we got him going up the middle, and those are your 2 big options. Nashaka hasn't proven yet that he can throw the ball consistently. So when you're in that situation, you know, you're going, okay, they're running, you know, and then you got 7, 8 guys coming at you, and your lineman's looking up and going, holy cow, how am I going to, and the next thing you know, it's the 3rd and 13.
Well, and what Standish is doing is they are coming with that 7 and 8 man pressure, filling the running lanes, and then not giving the shock. When he'll take a 3 or 5 step drop, he turns around, he's got people in his face. He doesn't have time to do anything, so he does what he's taught to do, and that not turn the ball over. You got to take the sack instead of trying to make something happen.
And again, on a sack, trying to find the positive is the fact he took a sack, he didn't fumble, didn't throw it away, didn't throw the interception. Maybe throwing it away is going to be a next progression for him. He's made a couple of nice passes. He's made a couple of good decisions. So we know that he's got the ability to do it. It's just can that line, and again, that line, as much of a strength as it is for these guys, for Pinconning going into the season, when you got 7, 8 guys coming at you repeatedly and you're trying to take a long drive, you're having to block a lot. And unfortunately, it starts to wear down a little bit on you as well. And if you're not getting those running lanes popped open, all you're doing is leaving lanes for the defense to come through.
And it's really, other than one scrimmage, Jason, the first time this year where you've really been able to look at a different colored jersey on the other side of the ball and try and make your adjustments.
Yeah, when you're in a scrimmage, too, you got a couple things. One is how much are you trying to show? A lot of times they just kind of keep everything vanilla to get to that point. In the scrimmage aspect of it. So, you're still trying to figure things out. Again, you don't automatically make the playoffs in football, so every game 1 is as important as game 9 mentality. But again, for Pinconning, it's just about building. Build.
And I think what has to happen at halftime is they've got to come out, and their theme for the second half is we have to win the second half. Don't worry about the score right now. Let's come out and right some of the wrongs, have a positive second half, see if we can outscore Standish and have something to move forward into week 2 with.
Well, they're going to get the kickoff. I think for their mentality, I think they need to win the third quarter. I think winning the second half right now, take it and make it smaller. Try to win the quarter. Try to win this next possession. Try to put some points on the board. Do something that's going to allow you to look at yourself and say, okay, we believe in what we're trying to do. We may have gotten behind the 8 ball in this particular game, but there's going to be games coming up that we're going to be ready to roll.
That concludes our Frank's Great Outdoors halftime show. Back in the moment for the second half here on Bay County TV.
For over 75 years, Frank's Great Outdoors has served as the Great Lakes Bay region's premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor shopping destination. What started in the mid-1940s as a roadside bait and tackle stand has now blossomed into a 30,000 square foot outdoorsman's dream shopping location. Stop by the store located at 1212 North Huron Road in Linwood, or shop online at franksgreatoutdoors.com to find everything you need to get your next outdoor adventure started.
All right, back here, ready to start the second half. Part of the Bartlett and Bartlett law firm will be kicking off to start the second half. This is Anderson Bartlett, and we talked to the first half, TJ. 3 different kinds of kickoff has really kept the Pinconning return on a little off balance.
Well, you just don't want to give it to Betcher. And as I say that, they give it to Betcher.
With a full head of steam pulling forward. He gets slowed down by a couple of people, and Anderson was sitting back here being the lone deep person going, don't make me have to chase him down because he looks like he is rolling.
He was just worried about getting his tee off the field. He wasn't worried about tackling.
So they a great return out to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 for Pinconning. Positive start.
It's going to be to see if they can continue what they did at the end of the first half with that drive. They had a nice drive before they punted it there with no time left at the end of the first half. It will be really, really nice to see if they can get a couple of positive plays to start, maybe a couple first downs, just kind of get something rolling.
All right.
Wardrobe malfunction?
I don't know. Something was on the sideline that Betcher needed, apparently, and
they're going to tell him to play now. Gets back in time.
I don't know if somebody got one of his gloves or what it was, but as the Pinconning area Spartans start their first offensive possession, Betcher gets hit right at the hole as Raymond came up and just filled that hole, and there was no place for Betcher to go.
That's a tough role for Betcher right there, almost trying to run on the inside. You never let his legs really get moving and get that head of steam that he really needs to do his punishing type of run. I'd like to see him get the ball a little bit more on the outside. I wouldn't mind seeing the Shaka run a little bit more of the option opportunity to try to get him moving and get him on the fly. Use that wide side of the field.
Well, if the read option is a possibility out of this offense, but Again, they've done some great things tonight. They just have not been able to finish any drives and get in the end zone. Second down at 11 yards to go. Counter action play again, and getting stuffed in the backfield with absolutely nowhere to go is the running back on the play, and that is Cooper Norman. As for the third time tonight, I've stepped on your cord, but
hey, better my cord than my shoe and my foot, since I'm wearing open shoes. I tell you, that Aiden Lalone is a tough runner on that counter. You know, the inside handoff, he had that one really good run. But again, you got to stay with what your strengths are here. If this is what you want to build on, let's see what you can do out of this.
Well, again, looking like they're sending 8 men, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They get the pass off, and it's completed. But great pursuit to the football, and the reception on the play again by Owens has positive yards, but it's only a 3-yard gain, and it'll be 4th down and 10 yards to go. Not the start that the Pinconning area Spartans were looking for in the third quarter.
No, we talked about it at halftime as far as not wanting to go backwards. First play, 1-yard loss. Second play, 1-yard loss. So you're at a 3rd and 12, and then you get a short 2-yard bank gain on the pass on 3rd down. Now you're at 4th and 10 and a timeout being called by the Spartans.
Well, I think they're pondering going for it on 4th down. We're going to take a quick break and come back, and we'll check on it as well right here on Bay County TV.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you. Nick Page and Jared Doan now on the cameras, as we've got Dylan Sawbury. He's sitting in the control seat right now, producing and directing the second half of the show. Glad to have Dylan on board.
Coming out of the timeout, they use the timeout, and now they're going to go to a punt versus trying to go for it on 4th and 10. Kicking it to a dangerous Braden Sullivan.
Sullivan's going to the wide side of the field. Now he cuts up. He's got a blocker to the outside. He's up over midfield down to the 40-yard line. Going to run out of real estate as he goes out of bounds somewhere around the 37-yard line. Another great return, and that's really about where they would have been if they went for it on 4th down and weren't successful, as another facet of the Standish-Sterling Central game. The return game has been very, very good tonight.
It's been very strong. Sullivan has done a lot of good things. I mean, obviously I've said a lot of nice things about him when he's on the field in terms of his receiver, his slot position. But, you know, as a returner, he's got the touchdown on the punt return. He just gives so many different looks, so many different things he can do, brings to the table.
Start this third quarter. Bartlett to the outside. I don't think he's got any intent to throw in the ball. He picks up 4 or 5 yards, and he gets out of bounds. And that will be at about the 32-yard line. They're going to give him a gain of 5 on the play. And if I'm out there, even if I've got a full intent of running the ball, I'm going to pump fake at least once or twice, seeing if I can get the defense to come off their feet or to stutter step for a minute and give myself maybe a little extra real estate.
Get them to bite just a little bit. Again, we're talking about keeping the defense, giving the vulnerabilities. You know, if you have that full intent of going to the outside, you know, don't be afraid to throw. I mean, look how well it works for Pat Mahomes. Yeah, and yes, I'm comparing Bartlett to Patrick Mahomes.
But Bartlett, again, ran the first quarter, and he's here. He bolt the runner, and he's up the middle with another huge gap. Cuts back across the grain, down inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. Finally brought down on the play by number 23, Jordan Gunter. And again, how many cuts did Thiebaud make? 3 or 4 on that play to get extra yardage.
He's just shifty enough. He sees things. Again, it's that read-react. Same thing we talk about in the basketball side of things. You know, you want to read where the defense is doing and you react to it versus reacting to what you want them to do and then having them be in the right spot.
Another 1st and 10 for the Standish-Sterling Central Panthers. 8:55 left in the third quarter of play, up 33-0, knocking on the door once again. Bartlett back in the shotgun. Thibault bangs forward. He's inside the 5, sniffing the goal line. He's into the end zone. It's a Standish Sterling Central Panther touchdown.
What another impressive run, another impressive drive. It doesn't matter if King's back there in the quarterback or Brett Bartlett back there in the quarterback. They've got such great command, and that offensive line is really opening a lot of holes up right now. They did so in holding their blocks when they needed to make the right pass, and now they're doing right so when they need to get a good run. Really doing a nice job. The Standish is going to look at this film and be very, very happy with it.
39-0 extra point attempt. Bartlett is up. It's long enough, and it is good. Time out of the field with 8:42 left in the third. It's 40-0. Standish over Pinconning, back with a running clock situation on Bay County TV. Inside, outside, or even in your home, there are lots of ways to enjoy amazing food from Bay City Bills. Our dining room is ready for you, and so is our new outdoor seating. And we are ready for you with takeout too. Stop in to Bay City Bills at 1215 Michigan Avenue, or find us on Facebook or at www.baycitybills.com to see our full menu. Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you. Nick Page and Jared Doan on the cameras. Dylan Sauber is producing and directing. We'd like to thank Covenant Healthcare, our major sponsor of the game, and halftime sponsor, Frank's Great Outdoors, with Collier Chiropractic, Village Towing and Auto Repair, Bay City Bills, and AAA Transport, all part of our team for 21-22 here with high school sports. Here's just a little squib kick. And that ball is down on the ground, and it looks like the Pinconning area Spartans are going to come away with it.
I don't have a problem with the kick. Up 40-0. You want to know what? He's got to get some work on it. And it was a great opportunity. Again, he's been kicking the ball deep. He's shown he's got the leg to get it into the end zone. He's shown he's got the leg to get it as high as the lights. And now he's showing the ability. That was a great squib.
Well, and Knuckle gets the ball. And really, if Pinconning is ready for something like that, and they obviously work as they recovered it, they benefit with great field position. So this is another learning moment for Pinconning to say you got to be ready on the kickoff team, even on the front seven, for anything that could happen. They responded well, and they get the ball at the 40-yard line.
Well, let's see if they can get some positive yards here on first down. Again, we talked about coming out at halftime. They need to get a couple first downs to get ready.
Look at that, coming on first down, going to try and throw it. And they're going to be thrown back at the 30-yard line again. Blitzing in on the play, Truman King. He says, if I can't play quarterback in the third quarter, I'll play defensive back. And he shot the gap. And again, really nothing the Pinconning quarterback could do in that play.
No, I thought Jackson Dittenberg did a nice job shedding the quick block. Again, the Pinconning offensive line, they're tired. We're sitting here talking about how you're supposed to keep the defense on the field for Pinconning, but you got to remember those guys are playing. A lot of them are playing two ways, so they're, I don't want to say at the point of exhaustion, but it's getting tougher and tougher to block all of these blue jerseys coming at them.
I only count 18 players over there right now that are suited up for, as Betcher tries to get to the outside, and he has a little spin move to the inside, and they were not going to let him go. He spun away from the first couple, but about the pursuit to the football, finished that play off, led by number 61 on that tackle, Anthony McCoy.
I tell you,
Aiden McCoy, excuse me.
That was a pretty exciting 3-yard gain. He went out there, he made a little shifty move, and it took about 8 yellow helmets to gang tackle Betcher. Again, building blocks, positivity. There's got to be a way to get him more involved. I mean, you're just feed him the ball.
Yep.
I keep saying it, and I know that there's other things that they want to work on, but he seems to be the guy that can really light your team.
He is the game changer out on the field, I would say, of all the Pinconning offensive players. Spin to the outside. Again, great pursuit to the football as Laponce just had that sniffed out. He was playing contain and attack, and he fell right into the play.
I think what happened on that one, if we go back to replay, you're going to see Nastaka not really drag the defense with them and not give a real good, strong pitch area for Betcher to get a full head of steam. Everything was real condensed, almost like you're running to the short side of the field, in which they weren't. They were going to the wide side. Just unfortunate that they weren't able to string it out a little bit more, get that defense going sideline to sideline.
And I think you've seen here on the last 3-4 punts, Standish is not even trying to get after it. And here's a punt that Sullivan is just going to let go, and it's going to be down about the 36-yard line. And the offense for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers head back on the field. And it's a place they've spent a good portion of this football game on, TJ, and they haven't had to punt all game long. They have turned just about every opportunity into points.
Yeah, they have. They've done a really nice job. Again, they're going to be able to look at this film and realize that they've done a lot of nice things, but it's so many things that you can be happy with and realize that you've got a chance between the passing game, the running game, sideline game, the getting wide game, the kicking game. Right now, today was a great opportunity for these guys to at least get some confidence moving forward as they get ready to tangle next week. Again, right here at Standish against Ithaca, which will be a challenge in itself.
Well, Ithaca is not the formidable that they used to be, but Ithaca is still Ithaca, that's for sure. Quick pass on the outside, and one of the few drops in this game is, again, trying to run before they had the ball. And I did not catch the number on that receiver out there. I'm going to try and look. I think it might have been
Dominic Vincent, number 15.
Yep.
You know, nice pass, right in his hands.
And I think the one thing that has impressed me most about Standish is the quarterback to the receiver tonight. They have really been in sequence, and that's the toughest thing for me to have down pat in week one.
No, it is. You're right. I think the one thing about that is you can tell that they've done a lot of work together, spent a lot of time together, because you don't get that type of continuity just by showing up in summer camp.
And that ball carrier, I'm waiting to see if that was Thibault again or if that was the one they threw in there, Kobias, number 12. I could not tell as he hit the ground, but
we're going Kobias on that one.
It's about a 6 or 7 yard gain, so it's going to be a third down. We're going to call it a long 3 as the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, with a running clock situation, down to 3 minutes left in our third quarter of play. Bartlett back in the shotgun. He's back to pass. Here's a pass on the outside to a wide open receiver on the play, and that was Chase Raymond, and ball was underthrown, and Raymond kind of blew a shoe trying to get back to that football.
I think there was a couple of bad things that happened there, but I still thought it had a chance. But he definitely come down a little bit before, and
I think Bartlett looked like he had a little happy feet back there and didn't really step through on that, because it looked like if Raymond catches that ball, he had a lot of green grass out there.
You know, I was thinking the same thing when I saw him coming out, is if they got it to him now, and then he just was a couple seconds late, and by that time he was going one direction, and then Raymond was going down.
Well, I was thinking Standish might decide to try and work on their punting game a little bit, but they're going to bring that ball down on the inside, and that pass is incomplete. And I think that actually Standish thought, if I don't get this, we're going to give Pinconning great field position and an opportunity to see what they can get moving down the field. And it's a great opportunity for Pinconning. They've got to find a way to put a series of plays together and get something positive out of this field position.
I would like to see, again, use Betcher. I don't care if you want to run him with the option. Get him the ball to the outside with some speed. Up the middle isn't working. Not when you got 8 blue jerseys that are staring down 5 Pinconning offensive linemen. You know, so I think getting the ball to the outside. The other side of it, if you want to throw Nishaka back there, Nishaka, to, you know, let him work on that passing game a little bit. So if you can get Betcher out in the flat, try and get a little screen action to him.
Well, you've got to get some passing going too, because when they're bringing 8, you got to do quick short passes and try and get your offense into sync. Let's see what they try and do. They try and go right up the middle, and there is absolutely nothing there as Norman gets stuffed before he even gets to the line of scrimmage. And I understand what you have to do to keep the defense honest, but the defense isn't doing anything, to be honest, right now. They're just filling 8 gaps and sending a bunch of people, and Pinconning cannot spring anybody.
I call this like video game football and defense, where no matter what you're playing against, you're just strictly going at it. You're just blitzing every play. You know it's a video game. You know what they're going to run. You know if you got more guys going at their guys, and the numbers are in your favor. It's like going to war. If you have more guys, you typically have an advantage, leverage.
Well, and the thing is, what you've got to realize when you're sending 8 is man coverage is everywhere. You just got to get the ball to a receiver and let them make a play. 2nd down and 11. Trying to get to the outside again. The Shaka gets there, and he is thrown back at about the 46-yard line. And they're trying to make 5- and 7-step drops. I think he needs to take a 3-step drop, try to get rid of the ball, as that will be the end of our 3rd quarter of play. And we'll hold that thought and come back for the final 12 in just a moment on Bay County TV.
Is your pain holding you back from things you enjoy, like playing with your grandchildren or participating in a sport? At Collier Chiropractic, we specialize in neck pain, back pain, headaches, or sciatica that won't go away. If you've tried chiropractic, you've tried physical therapy, you've gone to your medical doctor with no results, or you take medication and it doesn't even touch your pain, then put this number in your phone, give us a call, see how we're different at Collier Chiropractic, Bay City.
Back as we prepare to begin our 4th quarter, again, like to thank our sponsors, Covenant Healthcare and Frank's Great Outdoors, our halftime specialist of the evening, Collier Chiropractic, Village Towing and Auto Repair, Bay City Bills, and AAA Transport. Start of the 4th quarter. Same thing happens as the offensive line just cannot stop when you've got 6 linemen trying to stop 8 people rushing. There are holes there.
Yeah, Jackson Dittenberg, he's really getting off the snap really well, and he's getting back there and being very disruptive. You know, we want Pinconning to get this drive. We want them to be able to do some nice things. You know, and every time we talk about going positive, they keep going in the backwards direction, thus putting them back into a punting position here with just under 11 and a half minutes left in the 4th.
And I like what they're trying to do. They're just not able to execute. And that ball may have been partially blocked as it's going to roll out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. So after the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, Jason, had 4 or 5 punts where they didn't attack. They came after this one, and I think they got a little chunk of it.
No, they just mixing it up. You know, again, you're working on a lot of things. I mean, everyone says, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. You squib it up 40-0. You've got to work on these things. There's no other time to work on something and no better time than actual game time for you to be able to try to figure out how it is that you need to improve for the next game.
Well, and I love your point, TJ, too, because they have things, like you just said, that they need to work on as the ball carrier rolls forward on the play. And that is number 44 again, and that's Rogers. So you're not trying to do anything negative towards your opponent. You've just got a lot of things you want to work on in week number 1 so you can build on them.
Yeah, I don't, you know, in basketball you got a couple games a week. You know, you're going to be able to bounce right back in. In football, you got to wait till next Friday, or in this case next Thursday, to get your next game in. And you don't have scrimmage opportunities. You don't sit there and go against your JV team in practice to be able to work on certain things. So this is the best time to do it. Again, under the lights on when the game's real.
Well, and they're certainly going to show Ithaca a whole lot of things that they're going to have to look at. Banging forward with the ball is the fullback once again, Colin Rogers, as he's showing that he learned a thing or two from T-Bolt. He doesn't worry about bouncing left and right. He just squares up the pads, and he's going east-west, and he's going to move the pile.
My favorite runner of all time, Whittemore Prescott running back Tom
Touchdown
Tyson,
Tommy,
was like tackling a light pole. That dude would just stand, he'd just run you over. He didn't believe in cuts.
No, he didn't need to.
No, he couldn't. I don't know if he couldn't. You're right. He just never needed to.
King throws that ball out to an empty flat, and either he had a bad read or somebody made a bad cut on that play, as there was nobody really in the neighborhood. But you talked earlier about Bartlett and King both doing a lot of great things here in week 1, and boy, that gives you a lot of coach confidence if you know that your top two quarterbacks can both click.
Well, yeah, number one, it doesn't allow you to have to, next man up mentality if one does go down and with an injury. But, you're going to have to at some point be able to be real, real happy with what you're seeing out there and allow yourself to be able to, as we got a run right there.
Jet sweep to the outside, run by number 25 on the play. Oh, it's another one of the law firm, Bartlett.
Yeah, Bartlett. Going back to the thought, to be able to program and plan your plan of attack, it gives you so many different things. You've got two different, maybe not different style quarterbacks, but maybe Truman throws the ball. I'm calling him Truman King. Truman King throws the ball a little bit better. Maybe Bartlett throws. Maybe one runs a little bit better. And it's tough for the opposing coach to try to figure out. And they're going to keep throwing the every other quarter mentality and try to keep you guessing if you're trying to plan for defensive game plan for the
I
Panthers.
like the fact that it just gives both guys a lot of confidence going into week 2. 3rd down and 5. Great cut to the outside. Just when the big fella says, you know what, I heard you guys up there with that comment. I can't cut. I plant the foot and I head to the outside. Colin Rogers says, okay, take that, BCTV. I'm a versatile running back, not just a big one.
Yeah, Tebow must be in his headset, too. I tell you what, the only one that didn't like that is King because he has to run 50 yards to a coach to get this play.
Get back to the sidelines.
Coach, can you come down with us? Stay with us, Coach. Stay with us.
7:15 and counting left in the game. 40-0. The Standish Sterling Central Panthers have just dominated this game on both sides of the football. And we're in a running clock situation here in the 4th quarter. King back to pass. There's pressure coming on the backside. He's going to run the football right now. And again, he sidesteps the first tackler, and it looks like Betcher gets him before he's able to go any farther. But that is going to be a holding call against the Standish Sterling Central Panthers. They're going to bring that back. But again, I would like it better if King went out there, whether he was across the line of scrimmage or not. I just like to see a couple of those pump fakes. Freeze the defense for a minute, get them off their feet, and see if that will give you a little bit more room to roam.
We've watched enough football between the two of us, whether it's you broadcasting and officiating or just as a fan. We know that works. We know that it's capable of giving you 2-3 extra yards, and how critical and crucial is that going to be later on when the game's really on the line. Those 2-3 yards makes it 3rd and 1 versus 3rd and 4. So you're right, it's something that they can work on as they move forward for sure.
But first down and a bunch, because that's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. So actually it's a first down and 31 yards to go.
Where did he hold them at?
Well, they had to have been at least 10 yards behind the line. And they're giving that ball right forward again to number 44. Colin Rogers says, you know what, I'll just take it 5-6 yards at a time. And the Pinconning Spartans have got to be on both sides of the football exhausted, because I don't care how much you can condition and train, Jason. At this point in the ball game, you have just spent every ounce of energy that you've got to give.
No, you have, and I agree. When you mentioned earlier that Standish was doing a lot of good things, I think you saw kind of like a heavyweight fight at the beginning where they were kind of standing toe-to-toe. Standish comes up with that big turnover to turn it into a 13-0 lead. But as the game has wore on, you can tell that Standish has got more. They've got stronger. They're bigger. And it's really wearing down the Spartans of Pinconning.
Boy, pass complete to Raymond. And what an absolutely pinpoint perfect pass. Catches Raymond right at the chin. Raymond does a great job of gobbling that in and pushing forward for a gain of about 28 on the play. We're going to move the sticks. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers, nearing the 5-minute mark. And again, Jason, we talked, it's like, no, they're not rubbing anything in against Pinconning. The average fan might think that, but it's week 1. You got to get reps. You got to get work. Your receivers need to run routes, and they're just doing it all very good tonight.
No, they are. They are definitely doing it well. Both quarterbacks, the running backs, as Rogers is going to work his way down. Colin Rogers, did he get in? He did score. Another touchdown for the Standish Sterling Central Panthers.
They have absolutely dominated it on the scoreboard tonight. 46 points pending the extra point. And the big fullback beat both the head linesman and the line judge by 10 yards down to the goal line. As maybe the officials are getting a little worn out and tired tonight. And not nearly as hot as we thought it might be tonight, but still, we knew this time of year you can expect heat.
Yeah, you're in August. I mean, what's
Bartlett with an extra point. That one looks like it just missed to the outside. Timeout in the field with 4:41 left in the game, 46-0. When we get back, we'll talk about the tips and the 4 things that will stop this clock in just a moment on BCTV.
AAA Transport and Limousine is the Great Lakes Bay region's most reliable and requested transportation service. For over a decade, we have been helping our clients to get to their destination on time, in style, and comfort. AAA's services include non-emergency medical transport, wheelchair accessible, school transportation, and shuttle services. We strive to provide exceptional customer service and tailor our fleet to meet your individual needs. Rest assured that you are in safe hands when you ride with AAA Transport and Limousine. To set up your next appointment, give us a call at 989-893-8294.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Jason Newsham along with you. Jared Doan, he's been right next to me all night long running the camera along with Dylan Sauber. And we have got the man, the myth, and the legend running everything tonight, Nick Page, as there's another high, deep kick that is going to run Botchler back, and he's going to try and cruise upfield. He makes a couple of people miss. He's got a seam, cuts to the outside. He's up over the 35, and he gets brought down at the 37-yard line. Nice job cutting hither and flow, and he's finally brought down on the play, and that's by a number 36. I thought it was number 30 for a minute, and that is Southworth.
Yeah, I cannot say enough good things, on the Pinconning side about Betcher. But, he was a block away right there, and how good of a feel-good would that have been for the Spartans just to get that? I mean, he probably ran 70 yards across the field, up and field, back and forth. He's the playmaker. He's a dynamic playmaker for those guys. It's going to be nice to see if we can get a couple of nice plays here for Pinconning, see if they can keep this defensive front line out of the backfield.
Shock up under center. The handoff up the middle, making the first person miss, but unfortunately there were a lot more there, led by number 54, Tremble. He got him low, and then he got hit high again, as unfortunately there was just not enough real estate there to make the second man miss, and right back to the line of scrimmage they go. It'll be second down and 10 as we're approaching 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a running clock game.
So talk to us a little bit, Jeff, from an official standpoint, in a running clock, to explain to the listeners and the viewers what can stop the clock.
All right, we'll get to it right after this play as Nishaka up to the line of scrimmage again. And he's back to pass. He's finally got a little bit of time to throw, and maybe should have felt that clock in his head saying, get rid of that football. But it's called tips. It's timeouts, it's incompletions, it's penalties, and it's scores. Those are the 4 situations after there's a 35 or bigger point margin up to 50. The super running clock at 50, literally short of an ambulance coming out to take somebody off the field, nothing will stop the clock from rolling at 50 points.
So when you're down 40-0, incomplete passes stops the clock?
No.
Okay. So
nothing stops that other than a timeout. Incomplete.
Injuries.
Excuse me. It is injuries. I misspoke myself for the first time since the last time. As the ball carrier looked like Betcher again, trying to get upfield as he made a couple of people miss. But again, Standish is swarming to the football.
They don't have, Pinconning doesn't bring a lot of playmakers. So when you're Standish after the first possession, second possession, your guys are all keying in on one. And if everyone holds their assignment, it just makes their job that much easier. And it's not against any of the Spartans out there. Their effort's fantastic. They're not giving up. They're continuing to fight all the way through. But it does make it a little bit more challenging. They're going to need somebody as they move forward in the Jack Pine Conference. Somebody else is going to have to step up. Maybe it's Owens. at the receiver spot. Sullivan going to get another chance to return.
Boy, makes the first person miss, makes the second person miss. But the first person that missed came back and made a tackle. And that was beautifully done that time by Alan Whiting. As now Standish is going to get a chance to work on something else, and that's called the victory formation. And they should, if they play this right, only have to snap the ball one time. If they wait until about 40 seconds to snap this, this will be the last play of the game.
And then I'll get to hear you say your famous line.
Oh, that's all there is.
Don't say it all. Don't say it all.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Knees are shaking now.
We'll let them wait and hear it. They haven't heard it since the end of basketball for last year.
They haven't heard it since the last time, right?
The first time since the last time. So I'm pretty certain they're going to go to victory formation right now. And
well, you just remember, I did teach you that every tackle is a touchdown-saving tackle.
Indeed they are. That's a word of wisdom that I'm going to go with tonight. And they are going to snap the ball. And we're going to wind it down as these kids all know each other very well, and they see each other all year long. But tonight owned by the Standish Sterling Central Panthers. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 and 0. That's all there is.
There is no more.
And the final score in the ball game, the Standish Sterling Central Panthers 46, the Pinconning area Spartans nothing. Back in a moment to put the wraps on this one right here on BCTV.
So your car is getting towed and you're not sure where to take it? Try Village Towing and Auto Repair. Our expert mechanics are here to help assist you with all your repair needs. We have over 30 years of experience with motor vehicles, so you know you're getting the best work that you can find. Stop by the shop at 2377 South Huron Road in Cuckolin, or give us a call at 989-684-9607.
Good evening and welcome back to our Bay City Bills Village Towing post-game wrap-up here on BCTV. Jeff Dodd and Jason Newsham along with you. Whether it was Bartlett or whether it was King, it equaled high efficiency.
They had a lot of great offensive possessions because their quarterbacks were under control and in command of the entire offense. They ran the passing routes. They ran to make sure the ball got to the right person. And when Tebow was tearing things up, they went back to him. They ran as efficient of a football game from that quarterback position. The passes that were made that were dropped were drops, not bad passes, except maybe one. Maybe I'll give them one.
Yep.
However, the rest of the passes between the two of them have been spot on, right where they needed to be, so that their receivers not only could catch it, but go somewhere with it.
Now, can a coach be upset if he didn't get a chance to work on his punt game at all during the game?
You know, I don't think that coach is going to worry too much about that. That's something you can work on in practice without having to worry too much about it. But I tell you what, if Bartlett would go back there to punt with that leg as a kicker, and I don't know this because we didn't get a chance to see it, they're going to be, again, it's another weapon. It's something else that you have in your back pocket as a coach that you know is a weapon. You got the kicking game, you got the punting game, you got Sullivan on the punt returns, your special teams. You played well in all three phases if you're Standish. All three phases you played well tonight.
Let's look at the Pinconning area Spartan side. People are going to look at this and they'll go 46-0. It was a lopsided game. They didn't play well. They played well in stretches of the football game. They just have to learn how to finish a drive because they had 3 successful drives in this game. They just found a way to stop those drives on their own.
Right, and I remember reading a couple of comments from the players in their preseason preview talking about being in a lot of close games, and then something basically being snake bitten. And we saw that tonight, a couple of good drives, 6-minute drives. That's your offense right there. You get 6, 7, 8-minute drives, you're chewing up a chunk of the clock. You're getting everything that you want minus the points. So at some point, as a coach, you're just waiting. You're waiting for the layups to start dropping. You're waiting for the free throws to start dropping. You're waiting for the passes to start getting caught, the lanes to open up. They will happen. It just continues to take a lot of discipline and not getting frustrated. If they can build on those possessions and just look at what they did well, whether it was a blocking scheme, whether it was a run, whether it was whatever it was, they can take the positive out of that and they can go off of there. They don't need to focus on what they know they didn't do well. They can't focus on they can't focus on certain things on the defensive side of it. If they can focus on the offense, they're going to be able to have those building blocks.
I think the one thing that I see that you have to do as Pinconning, you have got to start recruiting these kids in 4th and 5th and 6th grade to have a passion for this game, because you're not going to win at 11-man football when you're putting less than 20 people on the field.
Yeah, the number game we talked a little bit about in the pregame. And I think Coach Mulligan, from the philosophy standpoint, what they're looking for, that's part of it. That's part of their process, part of their building block. And if those are the things that they can get into place, again, you may not see the results this year. You may not see the results next year. But if you stay with it and you keep running and you keep doing the right things at the right spots, you're going to start seeing. And, again, these guys that are going to be graduated, they're going to get thank you notes from Coach Mulligan for staying with it and running the course, staying the course. You can use all the taglines, the row the boats, the burn the boats, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, these guys right now, but they didn't give up. Pinconning didn't give up. And they're playing with only 3 seniors. So let's not lose focus on the fact that we're looking at a lot of guys that are going to be coming back. The quarterback's a sophomore. Their playmaker's a junior. They got a couple guys in that line that are sophomores and juniors. So you've got some building blocks and some things in place right now. And, again, like you said, if you can start drawing these kids at a younger age, getting them excited about Spartan football, and all of a sudden you're going to have a product that is going to be proud for the Pinconning community to support.
Well, that about puts the wraps on our activities tonight. Great to have Jason Newsham along for the evening as admirable fill-in as always.
Never an admirable fill-in for the associate head coach, Guizdala.
Well, you did a great job tonight. And again, thanks to Village Towing and Bay City Bills for our post-game sponsorship. On behalf of the whole crew, I'm Jeff Doan along with Jason Newsham. And we had Dylan and Jared and Nick making it a great 5-pack of fun tonight. We're going to pack it up, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week from Bay City All Saints.